There is a soul in this house who wants to become a mother. It is said that a new house brings new dreams and new hopes with a new beginning. But what if the screams of the past are trapped in the walls of that house, and every room is hiding an unseen secret? Similarly, a family had come in search of a happy life in a house. But someone's wounds of the past were still green in this house. The story of the one who is incomplete in this house has now come to complete it. But will this family be able to escape from this devil? Or will their story also end in this house? Because what is not seen sometimes is the most dangerous. Year 1972, where the light burning in a building in the city of Madrid suddenly turned off. At the same time, two brothers playing marbles in the flat above him, Sebas and Julian's marbles fell down. Julian tried to turn on the light, but it did not turn on, and Sebas asked Julian to go back, because his mother had told him to stay away from this haunted door. But despite that, Julian started walking towards that marbles. But he stayed marbles and went inside that door, and that door also opened on its own. And as soon as Julian came in, he saw his marbles near the door of the last room there, and Julian started walking towards that marbles again, while Sebas was standing outside the door and looking at him dart, during which that marbles again went inside that door. And when Julian opened the door, there was an old woman sitting on the chair, and as soon as Julian started lifting that marbles, the woman's body fell down from the chair, because she had died a long time ago, and the children ran away from there in fear. Now the story goes on for 4 years from here, where the Olmedo family has come to live in the same building, in which her grandfather, Father Manolo, Mother Candela, daughter Amparo, son Pepe, and youngest son Rafael are there. But Manolo is not Candela's husband, but her brother-in-law, but for some reason they live like husband and wife. Now a broker named Staben welcomed them and brought them inside to show the house. But while opening the door of that flat, the hands of that broker were trembling. But still he opened the door and brought Manolo and Candela inside. And while showing them the house, he told them that the first owner of this house died 4 years ago. And since then this house has been closed, and finally he gave them the keys to the house and left from there. While bringing the luggage inside, Pepe gave a letter to Amparo, which Amparo's boyfriend Matthew had asked him to give him. But then Amparo's eyes fell on his grandfather, who was seeing something in this house that everyone else was not able to see. Anyway, after this, everyone kept their luggage in the new house and selected their own room. But when Pepe came to his room, he saw a girl in the front window, and this is the same girl whose picture is hanging in their house. Meanwhile, there were already a lot of clothes lying in Amparo's closet, and he took out all those clothes. But when he came to throw those clothes out, he liked a green dress among them, so Amparo kept it with him. Now at night, when Amparo was combing her after bathing her younger brother, suddenly that comb disappeared from there, and his grandfather, who was sitting nearby, was also not there. When Amparo checked, his grandfather was sitting in the bathroom, but as soon as she came inside the bathroom, the door of Rafael's room automatically closed. Amparo called out many times and told Rafael to open the door, but Rafael did not open the door. Then Amparo heard some noise from his room, and she started peeping from under the door, where Rafael was sitting on the floor. But as soon as Amparo saw someone's scary feet inside, he called his mother and father quickly, and as soon as his father broke the door, Rafael was sitting with his feet hanging outside the window. But they slowly went to him and saved him from falling. But Manolo felt that Amparo had closed the door, because of which Amparo had to hear a lot of scolding. Now, the next morning, Manolo and Candela went to their work. Manolo got a job as a salesman in a furniture store, and their Candela works in a clothes showroom. Their Amparo told Pepe that now you have grown up, so you should also do some work now. But as soon as Amparo left, the girl who was visible from the window sent a note to Pepe. My name is Clara, and I was waiting for you. Pepe, who didn't want to live here before, now finally got a reason to live here, whereas Amparo always wanted to be an air hostess, and now she was in the city. So she modified the green dress from that wardrobe and found the number of the Air Hostess Institute from the telephone directory and wrote it in a diary, during which she got the number of a Susina from that diary. Now Amparo was thinking that who could this number be, when she heard the voice of her brother who was talking to someone. But when Amparo came to her, there was no one there. Meanwhile, Dadaji was also feeling the presence of some evil power in this house, but since she is mentally ill, no one took her words seriously. But today, out of fear of that evil power, Dadaji went out of the house, and Amparo also came out of the house looking for her, where Dadaji told Amparo that we have to go from here, otherwise she will finish everything. Amparo asked who she was, so Dadaji pointed to her house without making any sound. Meanwhile, Rafael, who was making drawings inside the house, suddenly got a swinging stick, and if you remember, the This is the same stick that Julian had crossed that haunted door to take. Anyway, when Raffle picked up that stick, suddenly the TV in his house turned on which a cartoon show was going on, and Raffle sat there in front of that TV and started watching the show. But after a while, an old woman's puppet came on the TV, and as soon as he saw that puppet, he started talking to Raffle. But as soon as he told Raffle that now you will have to stay here with me forever, Raffle turned off the TV out of fear. But in the closed TV, he started seeing an old woman sitting on the chair behind him, when in fact no one was sitting on that chair. But before the poor child could understand anything, that old woman took him with her. Now when Amparo came home with Dadaji, she didn't find Raffle anywhere in the house. So Amparo quickly informed his parents, and they called the police at home. The police checked the entire building, and even asked the people around it, but no one knew anything about it. And the police said and left from there that as soon as we find out something, we will tell you. But despite this, the whole family left Amparo at Dadaji's house to find Raffle, during which Amparo suddenly heard the phone ringing. The wire of that phone was cut, but still I don't know how it was ringing. And when Amparo picked up the phone, Raffle was on the phone. But then Amparo heard the voice of Raffle screaming, and this voice was coming from the front door of their, and by then Amparo's family had also returned home. But the door of this house was closed because no one has been living here for years. So Manolo had to break that door, and everyone started looking for Raffle there. They found some footprints in that house, but there was nothing but a wall in front of those footprints. There Amparo heard his brother's voice from a room, and he came alone into that room where he saw a shadow of a small child behind the curtain on the window. But as soon as he saw it, the shadow grew bigger, and when the frightened Amparo removed the curtain, the same old woman was behind him who took Raffle. Then he held Amparo's hand, and Amparo started screaming out of fear. But when Amparo's family came to that room, there was no one there. But Amparo was in a very bad condition out of fear, so everyone took him back home. Now the next morning, Candela told Manolo that how can we go to work when our son is lost? But Manolo said that we got the job a day earlier, so we can't take a leave. We need money to pay the loan, so we have no choice but to go to work. But during work, an innocent girl named Lola started whistling at Candela. And seeing Candela, Lola's mother also realized that Candela and her family are affected by some evil power. That's why she gave Candela a tarot card and said, keep it with you for your child, because it will help you. Here, coming out of the house, Amparo called Sujana's number from that diary and asked, do you know the last owner of this house? But as soon as she heard the name of this house, Sujana hung up the phone. In the same house, Clara sent a message to Pepe again today. Your brother is fine. So Pepe asked, how do you know him? To which Clara said, I know where your brother is, so meet me in the basement quickly. And Pepe came to the basement looking for Clara, where it was quite dark. Pepe was realizing that someone was there, but he couldn't see anyone, and this thing had scared him a lot. Then suddenly the little light that was there also turned off, and Pepe started looking for Clara by lighting a lighter. But Clara had started scaring him. Clara came from behind and hugged him, but when Pepe looked in the mirror, she was not Clara, but the same old woman, and she attacked Pepe, but somehow Pepe ran away from there. When Amparo came home, she suddenly had a stomachache, and she went to the bathroom and started vomiting. And when she removed the clothes, she saw scratches on her stomach, but before Amparo could understand anything, she started hearing the sound of music. And when she came out and turned off the music system, she saw the same old woman in the kitchen through the mirror in the kitchen door. But when she opened the door, her grandfather was there. And when she came into the kitchen, grandfather started talking to Amparo in the voice of Raffle, and this thing had scared Amparo a lot. But then the phone started ringing. When Amparo picked up the phone, he heard Raffle shouting from the house in front of him, and the door of that house also opened on its own. And Amparo ran into that house, where she saw Raffle's hand in a very big clock, and as soon as Amparo broke the glass of that clock, he finally found Raffle, after which he came to check on Dr. Raffle, and he said that there is nothing to worry about, but still you have to take a little care of Raffle. But in the meantime, Raffle started looking at Amparo's stomach, which made Amparo understand that she was going to be a mother. Now, at night, Candela told Manolo that I don't like this house. That's why I don't want to live here. But Manolo explained to him that we have a lot of debt on us, and we have bought this house by selling everything we have. That's why we have no choice but to live here. On the other hand, Amparo could neither keep this child with her, nor tell her about it at home. That's why she decided to kill herself by eating rat poison. But then someone threw that poison from her hand, and the lights of her entire house turned off. Here she showed a hand to Raffle lying with her mother, who was writing something on the slate. And when Candela went there to check on her scared child, she saw a girl there, which scared her a lot. At the same time, Pepe also started getting a lot of messages from that rope. and Manolo, who was fixing the lights, also saw that old woman, which scared the whole family a lot. At the same time, that old woman attacked Amparo in the kitchen, but at the right time, her father took her out of the kitchen. So now this devil had openly come in front of the whole family. That's why, out of fear, they all left home and went to a hotel, and they all spent the whole night in the same room. But as soon as morning came, Candela and Manolo reached the bank, so that they can sell this house and live somewhere else. But the bank said that whatever is happening to you, we don't care about it. But you can't sell this house without paying your debt. With this, Manolo was also fired from work, because he had taken a leave without telling. And that's when Candela remembered the card given by Lola's mother. So she immediately came to her workplace. And after finding Lola's mother's dry-cleaned clothes, she herself came to deliver those clothes to Lola's house. Now, when she reached there, Candela asked Lola, "What did you see that day when we met for the first time?" So her mother said that Lola can see what no one can see. That's why Lola is very special. There must have been something dangerous in your flat. That's why the old spirit doesn't want to go back, and Lola can see it inside you. Now that spirit is attached to your family. So even if you sell this flat and go, she won't leave you, because she definitely wants something from your family. On the other hand, Amparo felt that only Suyana can help them now. That's why she came to Sujana's house. And there. During the conversation, Suyana told that she returned Rafael after making him disappear because you are pregnant. That's why now she doesn't want Rafael, but your child. After which Suyana showed Amparo the photos of that girl, whose photo is also attached to Amparo's house. But Suyana said that this is not me, but my twin brother Miguel. He used to wear clothes like girls and called himself Clara, and he was very fond of becoming a mother. But one day when our father caught him with a boy in the basement, he beat him to death. But despite this, he didn't stop doing all this. That's why our father locked him in that flat forever. But after our father's death, we divided that flat into 2 parts. But because of the taunts of the neighbors, I had to leave that house. But, even after dying, her madness of becoming a mother has not ended, and even if you give her your child, she will still not leave you. Here, Lola and her mother came to her house to help her with Candela, where suddenly the door of that flat opened, and they all came inside that flat. But there Clara took over Lola's body, and Lola started flying in the air. After which the real game of that soul began. Her anger was now pouring on all those people, and, with one gesture, she threw Candela, Manolo, and Pepe away from the raffles. But Lola's mother started hiding the raffles behind her and praying. But she injured Lola's mother and started moving towards the raffles. But in the meantime, reached there. She said to Clara, "I know you have suffered a lot, and for that, we all apologize to you." Amparo also requested Clara and threatened her. But Clara wanted Amparo's child at any cost, and she was not ready to listen to Amparo at all. That's why Amparo decided that she would kill this child with her. As soon as Amparo put a piece of glass in his stomach, Clara started crying for that child. And taking advantage of this opportunity, Manolo jumped down from the balcony with Lola to save his family, from which he himself was killed. But Lola somehow survived. And with this, Clara's soul also left Lola's body. That is, this family had got salvation from this soul. But a father had to pay the price of this salvation by giving his life. After Manolo's death, his family got a lot of money from his insurance, from which he left this flat and set out to start a new life. And with this story ends here. So if you liked the video, do like the video. And if you want me to make a video on a movie you told me, then quickly subscribe to this channel and write the name of that movie in the comments. And with this, I will meet you in the next video.